Somebody give the Lord a shout. It's raining testimonies of new beginnings, and you're now alive. Hallelujah. Please be seated. Praise report 1 today is that of Sister Oluwatosin Blessing. She says on Friday, the 12th of August, 2022, she entered a cab to Wuse on her way to the core members' evangelism. And a lady was in front, a man was at the back in the cab. After she entered, the driver did not pick anyone else. After the driver drove a little further, the man seated behind and the driver started to argue. As the man said he had some money in the car boot and needed to get to the police station. Then the driver stopped the cab and the lady in front joined in the argument. Eventually, the driver moved, and when she got to where she was meant to drop off, the driver refused to stop and said he was taking them somewhere. That was when she realized she was in the wrong cab. She told the driver to drop her, but he sped off and left the normal direction. She switched to praying in tongues. And remember that our senior pastor prayed for us during day 2 of Refresh, that we will not be an agent for ritual or kidnap. She said she began to declare those words under her breath. After a while, the driver just stopped and asked her to get down. Without collecting anything from her, she came out whole. For somebody here today, you will not be a candidate for ritual or kidnap. The next is that of Sister Augustina Udeme Idoko from our Gwarimpa campus. Hallelujah. She had been applying for jobs and asked God to give her a job as her birthday gift in the month of August. Then on the 31st of July, Pastor came up stage and declared, "You will get a job." He declared it twice, and she received it with the whole of her heart. Her sister, who is an e-church member, also called her and told her about the declaration made by Pastor. Her sister had also received it on her behalf and assured her that it is done. She's back with a praise report. On the 2nd of August, 2 days after the word came forth from our prophet, she was scheduled for not just one interview, but 2 interviews in 2 different companies. And she got the 2 jobs. I was told to resume immediately. For somebody here today, whatever you seek, yours may not be a job. Receive it in excess. The next is that of Sister Unwana Udosen, an e-church member from Uyo. Hallelujah. She was diagnosed with fibroid in the month of March. She said she immediately rejected the diagnosis and just went home, prayed, sowed, and declared the word. Last week, she accompanied her friend for her antenatal appointment. Now, they shared the same doctor. So when the doctor saw her, he brought up the case of the fibroid, and she told him she no longer has it. He casually said, "Well, if your faith carries you." In her words, she boldly told him that her faith carries her home. And they laughed about it. He said, "Well, let's just check to be sure." They checked, and she's back with a praise report. Fibroid totally gone. No trace. After the order of this praise report, God will make you a medical miracle. The next is that of Brother Balogun Richard. He said since the COVID-19 lockdown, he had been experiencing a lot of difficulty in his finances, and things weren't moving as they ought to. He said things that he would previously do effortlessly became so difficult to do as the attack on his finances appeared to get worse. He was tempted to feel discouraged as some people kept sharing testimonies of how much favor they enjoyed in the same season. However, he kept his confession up. He prayed up, spoke to a couple of leaders, and they prayed together. Also, he kept sowing seeds, even though they were seemingly insignificant seeds. Last year, God started to open doors for him, and he got divine favor in renewing his company documents. And in the month of the new, last year, he got his first job of the year, which he was thankful for. He said, however, things seemed quiet after then, but then he kept his faith up and kept coming for services, coming for DPE, and maintaining his confessions. He got a nudge to pick up a job, while still working on his business. So he started to apply for jobs. A member of his team shared a testimony of a job she received after serving at the first Job Seekers Summit this year, and he latched on to that testimony. When the Gwarimpa Summit was announced, he also volunteered to serve. He listened and took notes in all the sessions as he served. He said he learned so much, which he applied in his business and also applied while looking for job opportunities. Then came the 90 days of strange supernatural favor. He said he keyed into it with his life and determined that it was indeed his season. Then came 7 days of glory, and his HOD encouraged them to go and sow into the senior pastor's life, which they did, and pastor prophesied over them. He's back with a praise report. He said shortly afterwards, he got a message from a place he had applied to earlier that they wanted to speak with him. And then a conversation started. While still at it, he got another open door in his business as he was called to come and execute a job that he didn't even know existed. He said it was so much of a success that the management decided he had to do another, in his word, much more grander one on a larger scale than the first one. While he was still at it executing that job, the first organization he was talking to earlier called to ask how much he wanted to be paid to work with them. And since then, it has been one offer after the other. He said now he has so many offers, he doesn't know which ones to take. He's having both job offers and business projects. I stand under the graces of my prophet, dear Reverend Biodu Fatoyinbo, and I declare over you, enter into a deluge of new beginnings. Somebody declare, I'm now in line. Celebrate Jesus.